Hello everyone, welcome to Prakash IT. Today we are going to learn data binding with the help of model attribute. How we can make use of the model attribute to bind our data. Okay, as part of our last class, what we have covered, we are just submitting one user form. This is the user form we are submitting with the name and email. These things only we are submitting, and here as part of the register controller, whenever we are firing this user slash home, then it will redirecting me to the user form, and once we submit the user form, then the request will coming to this URL, right? This method register user. Okay, where what we are doing with the help of request param, we are trying to get whatever the user submitted data we are trying to get, and that we are putting into a model map. Okay, we have taken one model map. Into the model map we are trying to send, and as part of the success page, here you are trying to display the same whatever the model map we set, or we add, that we are trying to display as part of this JSP page. Okay, this is the things we are doing as part of our previous example with the help of request param and model map, right? So but today I'm going to show you how to bind whatever the things we are doing here, how we can bind the whatever the user is trying to send as part of the request, that we are trying to bind with the help of model attribute. Okay, why model attribute? Okay, and what is the purpose of model attribute? Model attribute is uh, the annotation that is provided by the Spring MVC people. With the help of model attribute, we are going to bind whatever the data user is going to send, that we are going to bind with the help of by using the annotation at the model attribute. Okay, why we should use? Because see, here we are using two argument or two fields we are getting from the user, is not it? We are getting two fields, but consider one case, if there are uh, 10 to 15 parameters user is going to send as part of the form, then in that situation how we are going to handle that? We can write the request param and all these stuff, but that is not the good practice, right? Because if we write 10 request param all these things, so the you will end up with a bunch of code, and it will not look good, right? So what MVC people provided? So MVC people provided that whenever you have the requirement to bind all the I can say more number of data. In that case, you can make use of the model attribute. Okay, I hope like the theoretically you understood what is the purpose and what we are going to do. Okay, so here let me write one controller. Okay, let me write one controller here. We have done register user controller. Here I am going to write so user details controller. This is the controller. What it will do, it will show the user details. Okay, so first what we'll do, in order to make this class as a controller, so what we are going to do, we are going to write controller annotation on top of this class. Okay, so first what it will do, whenever user gives the request, we will show the show user form. Okay, we will display, let me write the method. So public string show user details form. This is the method, and in this method will what it will do, it will redirect us to the show user details form. Okay, so we'll simple return the view name is show user hyphen details. This is the form. Okay, so what I can say, I let me copy this form, and let me end this with a semicolon, and in order to uh, get the this method to get the request, so what I am going to write, I am going to annotate the request mapping, so that what it will do, it will respond for the particular URL. Okay, so for that what I'm going to write, I'm going to pass slash show So user form. This is the URL. Once the user will hit the URL, whatever we have configured as part of this web initializer, here we have configured user, right? User, then then the show user form, so it will redirect us to the show user details JSP, the view. Okay, inside this JSP, I'm going to write the file show user JSP dot JSP. This is the file I'm going to write. Okay, so let me copy the content so that we can save some time. User form dot JSP we have, right? So in order to what we'll do, we'll edit this form. User form dot JSP. Let me some so that user details dot JSP. Here I'm going to paste, and instead of action register dot user, so what is the method? The method is the show user details, right? Show user details, show user form. Show user form, it is going to whenever the user gives the request, then what it will do, it will redirect us to the that page, that method, right? So user form method is post. Okay, username email, what I am trying to do, I will add two more field. Okay, instead of email, what I can do, I can give user what user can have. Okay, so let me do like contact and input type this one, and this is contact. Okay, contact, and here in this one is address, and this is address. Okay, this is the things we are just trying to submit, and show detail. Here we write show details. So what it will do, we are taking input from the username, email, contact, and address. Once submit all these things and submit, click on show details. Then what it will do, this user, this will take me to the another page, right? So so that will show to the another method that we are going to learn now. We are going to configure that. That is public string show user details. Okay, this is the method we have written, and here inside this we are going to show the page. Okay, so user will submit. So here in this show user details form, user will submit all these details, and on clicking of the show details, the request will come to this show user method. How we are going to annotate this as request mapping. Okay, here in this request mapping we are going to pass as value. Then here we are going to provide whatever the things we are just written. Show user form, uh, show user details. Let me change this to show user details. Okay, so go to the show user details, and let me change to show user details. Okay, so what I have said before, like this will be show user form. It will load the form. Then on clicking of this, it will show the this JSP form. Okay, on submitting this one, the request will come to this method with the URL. So since it matches the URL, so user details. So inside this, what we are going to do, we are going to show the user details. Here we can communicate with the database, and that we are going to call the database and get the data from the DB, and we can show that. Okay, but instead of that, what we are going to do, we are going to capture the data, whatever the data user has submitted, that data we are going to um, collect previously we are collecting the data from in the terms of request mapping, uh, but here what we are going to do, we are going to collect the data or bind the data in terms of model attribute. There are model attributes. Let me first write model attribute model attribute model attribute. What does it mean? Whatever the data user has submitted, that it is going to bind. So to bind that, what we are going to do, we can create the class where we will create one class. Whatever the data the user is submitting, all this data, that will bind to the class. That is nothing but a model we are going to write, right? User details, this is a class. user details, this is the class. This class we are going to write just now. Okay, let me create the class. Where is the class? Create class user details, and I'm going to write, this is not the controller, I'm going to write in the model package. We'll create the one package model. Inside this model package, we are going to provide we are going to provide whatever the user data is submitted, that data it is going to bind. Okay, one that is binded, then what we are going to do, we are going to return one success form, user details hyphen success form. It is going to return this these things. Okay, so in this form we are going to user detail hyphen success dot jsp. In this page, what we are going to do, we are going to show whatever the data that is binded by this user detail, that we are going to show. Previously what we are doing, we are using the request param to wrap the data to get the data, and with the help of model attribute we are sending. But here we will take the help of the model attribute. Okay, so we have created the user details. So, but remember one thing, to bind all the data whatever the user is sending, that data we need to create all these username, email, contact, address, all these things to match the matching name, whatever the name with the key we are providing, username, email, contact, address, the field we are going to create. Okay, here we are going to create all the fields that should match all the details, username, all these things, right? So for that, what I'm going to write, I'm going to write private string, otherwise it will not bind, it will give some it will give error. Private string, then username, this is the one field, and let me copy 4 times. And next one is email, let me copy and let me paste this one. And third one is contact, this is the things, and final one is the address. Okay, so this should match, otherwise you will get exception. Okay, so what I have done, we have just created all these properties for this to bind whatever the data user is going to send, that for that purpose we have created the properties. Okay, we will create setter and getter, so that it will bind all this, it will set the value for all the property. Okay, so in order to display all the things for this class, what we are going to write, we are going to write the toString method. Okay, that's all, nothing we have to do. What we have done, we have written one line model attribute and user details. Okay, this is the model class. In whatever the data user is sending, that we are trying to binding here. Okay, user details the success, this page we need to create, and we will show the user the success message. Okay, so inside the view package, I am going to write the file success.jsp. Okay, this is the file I am going to create, and whatever the things we have done here, the same thing I am going to copy, register success, and user detail success I am going to save. Okay, here what we will do, we'll show user details. Okay, user details. So here what I'm going to write, I'm going to write one HR tag, so that it will give one horizontal line. Okay, username, these things, and I will copy 2 more times. Username is, let me cut this username, this one, email, this one, and not email, then address, addr address, and another thing is contact, right? Contact. Okay, so whatever the things we are doing here, user details, the same user detail I will copy, and user detail success, in order to call the this name, user details dot username. So what we will do, user details dot, this one, user details dot address, and here user details dot contact. Okay, so this is the things we are just trying to capture, right? How we will capture, from the whatever the model we have taken, from that model, user details is the model, that the username we are trying to get. from the JSP file. Okay, so this will show the user details. Okay, let me do one thing. Go to the show user details dot js, show user details form we should write. What we have written, show user details. Okay, show user details. Let me change this one, show user details hyphen form, because it's a form, right? Because it's a form. So let me write show user details dot JSP. Let me refactor this was to show user details hyphen form. Okay, fine. So we have done with our changes. Show user details form. So this is not user registration. This is show user details form. Okay. So user details form, and here what I'll write, I will write one HR tag so that it will give one horizontal line. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. So this whatever the annotation we are using at the model attribute, that two places we can make use of. We can add this model attribute, but for the time being, I am trying to use the model attribute inside the method parameter, right? So that's all. The development is completed. Let me tell you the flow once more time. Okay, whenever the user gives the request, the user slash show user form, then the request will go come to here. It will pop up. It will pop up, or it will show this user details form to the user. Okay, user details dot form, user details form dot JSP. It will show the HTML form. Once the user fills all these details and click on the show button, then whatever the show user details, this URL, it will map, right? Show user details is nothing but this one. It will map to this one. And here what we are trying to do, we are trying to bind whatever the user data submitted, that we are trying to bind by with the help of the model class, that is nothing but the user details model class. Okay, and once we capture, will bind the will we have completed the binding, then we are returning the logical view name, that is the user details hyphen success, where we are showing all the things, user details, that all the details, right, that we are just displaying. Okay, so let me start. That means I am deploying the application onto the Tomcat server. Once the application has been deployed, then we'll see by accessing the endpoint, right? Okay. Okay, now the initialization has been completed. Okay, this is serverless dispatcher, and this is the deployment has been completed. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll take the context path and I'll try to give the request, this one slash user slash what is the form name is, whenever, let me go to the controller, and this is show user form, this is the URL I should hit, right? Show user form. If I give the request, then it will show me the JSP form, user details form. Okay, so since we are not interacting with the database, what I am doing, I am just providing the details from the, by taking the details from the JSP form, right? HTML form from the user. Okay, so alignment and all you can do from your side, right? Just the concept, understand the concept. Okay, here I'll write John, email is j@gmail.com, and here contact is 987654321. Okay, address is some USA. Okay, if I click show details, then the request will come to what? The request will come to this one, show user details. Here I am showing all these things. Okay, so user details success, here user details success I am writing here. Okay, so let me write one br tag. Okay, let me copy, because we need one line break after this all these things. Okay, fine. So what we are showing, like we are getting the username John, email is this one, and address is USA, contact number is this one. We are getting all the records. Okay. Let me tell you one more thing. So here we have used the model attribute as a method parameter, right? But there are two ways to use the model attribute. We can use inside the like method parameter as well as on top of the method. Okay, let me show you that as well. Okay, let me create one method public void and add attribute, add model, just a method name attribute. Okay, this is the method name. I am just writing. What it will do, it will add all these stuffs. Okay, here what I will do, will take one model model, and here we will annotate this as I have told, we can use the model attribute as the method parameter, or else on top of the method, okay. So here model attribute. Okay, this is the model attribute we will use, and here we will take one model, right here. We are telling, and what we are telling to the JS, like the Spring Framework, what we will do, it we are writing the model attribute on top of this method. What you do, you add all these things, bind all this data, whatever data we are writing, so that we are trying to show, like we are just telling that we are going to add one more model, right? Simple. Model dot add attribute, we'll take one key value pair, like here let me take app name. Okay, simple app name, and here let me write Spring MVC project. Okay, Spring MVC is the project, is the app name. Okay, let me end by semicolon. Okay, so what I have written, I have written one method name add model attribute. Here I am taking the model and I am annotating with the model attribute. As I have told, we can use model attribute inside the method parameter, all on the top of the method. So what it will do, we are trying to add the attribute whatever we are trying to show. Okay, so what I am trying to show here, I'll go to the success page. Here, before showing the details, user details, and I just wanted to show you one more thing, the app version. I will take one h1 tag. Here I'll show the app name. Okay, app name is what? App name is this one, dollar, then curly braces. Here we'll write app name. App name, why? Because app name we have taken here, app name, this is the key. So in the by name of the key we will call. Okay, if I directly, let me try to hit that user data, let me refresh this page, try to continue. So we have not seen, okay, the changes are not reflecting because we have changed, we have done the changes inside the controller. So for that we need to restart the server, right? So let me restart the server, we'll try one more time, right? As you have seen, application has been deployed. Let me go to this and let me try to submit this form again, show user details. So once I submit this show user details, as you can see, app name is Spring MVC project, it is coming, and user details, the HR tag, it is line, horizontal line it is providing, and the username, email, address, and contacts, all these things we are seeing. Okay, so as part of this video, what we have studied, how to use model attribute inside the method parameter as well as the on top of the method name. Okay, so the two ways how to work with the model attribute we have understood. Okay, so that's all for this video. We'll meet in the next video with a new content. Okay, so many more things are there to study, so that we'll discuss as part of the next video. Thank you.